They say hindsight is easy, and I'll tell you what, they weren't kidding. There were so many times in my life when I tried to be what others wanted me to be. I followed the path everyone said was right, even when something deep inside whispered, this isn't for you. I ignored that voice. I told myself to keep going, to keep smiling, to keep checking off boxes, school, job, family, success, all the things people said would make life complete. But here's the truth no one told me. You can have a full life and still feel empty inside if it's not really your life. I've made choices out of fear, fear of disappointing others, fear of being left behind, fear of not being enough. And in doing that, I lost precious time trying to fit into a mold I was never meant for. Now, I don't say any of this with regret. Regret is a heavy thing to carry, and at some point, you've got to put it down. What I do carry, though, are lessons, some I learned the hard way, some I had to learn more than once. If you're listening to this today, maybe you're at a point in life where you're looking back, wondering about the what-ifs. Or maybe you're just starting to realize that it's okay to question the old stories you've told yourself. Whatever your age, your past, your path, these are 10 things I wish someone had told me sooner. Not because they would have made life perfect, but because they might have helped me live it more fully, more honestly, and with a little more kindness toward myself. They're not rules. They're not secrets. They're quiet truths, the kind you only see clearly when the noise fades. And I hope, in some small way, they help you feel a little less alone in your own journey. 1. You don't need to please everyone. You know, I used to say yes to just about everything. Yes, I'll help. Yes, I'll be there. Yes, I can do that. Even when I didn't want to. Even when I was tired. Even when something inside me quietly whispered, this isn't right for you. But back then, I thought being kind meant being agreeable. I thought keeping the peace meant keeping quiet. I thought if I made everyone else happy, I'd eventually feel happy too. I was wrong. It took me years, decades, even, to understand this simple truth. You don't need to please everyone. And more importantly, you can't. Some people will like you. Some won't. Some will misunderstand you no matter how many times you explain yourself. And that's okay. That's life. The real danger isn't in being disliked. It's in losing yourself trying to be liked. What I've learned, and wish I'd learned much earlier, is that saying no doesn't make you selfish. Setting boundaries doesn't make you unkind. In fact, it's one of the kindest things you can do, for yourself and for others. Because when you show up as your true self, you give others permission to do the same. And let me tell you, the people who truly matter. They won't love you for what you can do for them. They'll love you for who you are, even when you say no, even when you disappoint them, even when you draw a line and say, this is where I end, and you begin. So if you're still bending over backwards for everyone else, take a breath. You don't need to earn your place in the world by shrinking yourself. The moment I stopped trying to please everyone, I finally started to feel peace. 2. Time is your most valuable currency. When I was younger, I thought I had all the time in the world. I'd put things off, dreams, vacations, phone calls, thinking. I'll get to it eventually. There was always next week, next year, someday. But here's the thing, someday isn't a day on the calendar. And time is the only thing you can't earn back once it's spent. Money, you can lose and make again. Opportunities, you can miss and find new ones. But time. Once it's gone, it's gone. I wish someone had looked me in the eye and said, be careful how you spend your hours, because they become your life. I used to waste so many precious moments on things that didn't really matter. Worrying about what people thought. Working late at jobs that drained me. Scrolling through life instead of actually living it. And now, when I look back, I don't remember the busy days or the checklists. I remember the little things. The late night talks with my kids. The laughter around the dinner table. The quiet mornings with coffee and no agenda. That's what life really is. Not the big achievements, but the small moments you choose to be present for. So if I can offer you one piece of advice, it's this. Spend your time like it's gold, because it is. Invest in your health. Show up for your family. Make space for your dreams, even the small ones that scare you a little. You can always make more money. You can always chase more goals. But you can't rewind the clock. And one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, you'll realize that time was the richest thing you ever had. Spend it wisely. 3. Confidence comes from action, not perfection. I used to wait until I felt ready. Ready to speak up. Ready to try something new. Ready to chase a dream that felt just a little too big. But let me tell you something I wish I'd known sooner. Confidence doesn't come before the leap. It comes after. I used to think I needed to be perfect, or at least really good, before I could begin anything worth doing. So I waited. And I hesitated. And I held myself back more times than I can count. But the truth is, you don't wake up one day feeling confident. You build it, one step, one shaky moment, one brave decision at a time. Every time you take action, even if it's messy, even if it's small, you're telling yourself, I can do this. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Because the people who look confident, they didn't get there by waiting to be perfect. They got there by showing up, scared, unsure, imperfect, but showing up anyway. And every time they did, their confidence grew. Not because they were flawless, but because they proved to themselves that they could keep going. I think back now to all the things I never tried because I didn't feel ready. And I realize, the only thing I needed was the courage to begin. So whatever it is you're holding back on, that idea, that conversation, that dream, don't wait to be perfect. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're just supposed to begin. 4. Relationships matter more than achievements. I spent a good part of my life chasing the next goal. A promotion. A bigger paycheck. A title that sounded important in rooms full of strangers. And for a while, it felt like that was the right thing to do, to keep climbing, to keep proving my worth through what I accomplished. But looking back now, I don't remember the emails I answered at midnight. I don't remember the meetings where I got praise. I don't even remember half the things I thought were so important at the time. What I do remember are the things I almost missed. The bedtime stories I cut short because of work. The calls I said, I'll return tomorrow, and never did. The quiet dinners with loved ones that turned into rushed bites between deadlines. It took me years to understand this. No achievement will ever feel as good as being truly loved. And no success is worth much if you have no one to share it with. At the end of the day, and at the end of a life, it won't be your job title they talk about. It'll be your kindness. Your laugh. The way you made people feel safe, seen, and loved. So if you're still measuring your value by what you've done, let me offer you this. Start measuring it by who you've shown up for. Call your friends. Sit longer at the table with your family. Tell people you love them, not someday, but now. Because relationships, the real ones, they're not a bonus to a good life. They are the point of it. 5. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. There was a time when failure made me feel like I just wasn't good enough. Like I had fallen behind. Like I didn't belong in the room. Like maybe I just wasn't meant to succeed. I used to take every misstep personally, as if it was a reflection of my worth. If I tried and didn't get it right, I'd quietly shrink, tell myself, see? You should have never tried in the first place. But with time, and, truthfully, with enough bruises, I started to understand something deeper. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the path that leads to it. Every stumble taught me something no book or classroom ever could. It taught me how to adjust. How to stay humble. How to get back up with more wisdom than I had before. And here's what I know now. You can't grow without a few cracks. It's in those cracks, those moments that hurt, that shake you, that humble you, where the real learning happens. Failure doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're brave enough to try. And isn't that something to be proud of? So if you've failed, good. It means you stepped outside your comfort zone. It means you cared enough to risk getting it wrong. It means you're in the arena, while others are still sitting safely in the stands. And here's the beautiful twist. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall, learn, and try again, a little wiser each time. So the next time failure shows up, don't push it away. Sit with it. Thank it. Because it's not there to stop you. It's there to shape you. 6. Your health is your foundation. When I was younger, I treated my body like it was indestructible. I skipped meals. Stayed up too late. Worked long hours fueled by coffee and stress, thinking, I'll rest later. But later has a funny way of catching up with you, and not always gently. I used to think success meant pushing through, toughing it out, grinding harder. But now I see it clearly. Without your health, everything else becomes harder, or simply fades away. The truth is, your body is the one place you have to live in for the rest of your life. It's not a machine to be used up. It's a home. A temple. And how you care for it determines not just how long you live, but how well you live. I've learned that prevention is worth more than any cure. That sleep is not a luxury, it's essential. That movement, even gentle movement, keeps your spirit awake. And that a quiet walk, a glass of water, or a mindful breath can do more for your well-being than any pill. So please, don't wait for a scare to start caring. Nourish your body with real food. Move it with love. Rest it without guilt. And most of all, listen to it, it's wiser than you think. Because no matter how rich, how busy, or how driven you are, if your health slips away, everything else slips with it. Take care of yourself like someone you deeply love. Not someday. Not when things slow down. Now. Your mind lives inside your body. So treat it like a sacred place. Because it's the only one you get. 7. You are allowed to change your mind. For a long time, I believed that once I made a choice, I had to stick with it, no matter what. That meant staying in jobs I had outgrown. Holding on to beliefs that no longer felt true. And keeping promises to paths that no longer felt like mine. I thought changing my mind would make me look weak. Or worse, ungrateful, flaky, inconsistent. But here's what I've come to understand. Changing your mind isn't a failure. It's a form of wisdom. Life isn't a straight line. It twists. It turns. And you grow. What once made sense at May 25th not fit your life at 55. What felt right 5 years ago may now feel heavy, or hollow. And that's okay. We were never meant to stay the same. Some of the bravest people I know are the ones who've said, this isn't working anymore. I need to pivot. They left careers to follow a quieter passion. They let go of relationships that drained them. They admitted to themselves, and the world, I've changed. And instead of falling apart, they started to come alive. So if you're feeling a tug in your heart, a quiet voice saying, this isn't it anymore. Listen to it. You are not a tree. You're allowed to move. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to say, I know better now, and I'm choosing differently. Give yourself the permission to grow out of the old and into something new. Not because you're unreliable, but because you're becoming more you. 8. No one is thinking about you as much as you think. There was a time when I walked through life like I was on a stage. Careful with every word. Second-guessing every choice. Worried that someone, somewhere, was watching, and judging. I'd replay conversations in my head. Overanalyze how I looked, what I said, how I laughed. All because I thought people were paying attention. And not always kindly. But here's the quiet truth I wish I had known sooner. Most people are not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. We're all the stars of our own movie. And everyone else is just walking through the background of theirs. The person you're afraid judged your mistake. They've already moved on to their next worry. The stranger you think noticed your nervous stumble. They probably didn't even see it, they were too busy scrolling their phone or wrestling with their own insecurities. And the pressure to appear perfect? It's a weight we carry more than anyone places on us. When I finally let go of that pressure. When I realized that most people are just trying to survive their own day. I found something beautiful. Freedom. Freedom to be messy. To speak up. To wear what I like. To make mistakes and laugh at them. Because when you stop living for the approval of others, you start living for yourself. And that's when life begins to feel real. Whole. Peaceful. So take a breath. Let go of the need to be seen a certain way. And remember. The only person who needs to believe in your life is you. 9. Money is important, but so is meaning. Let's be honest. Money matters. It pays the bills. Puts food on the table. Gives you choices, safety, and peace of mind. For a long time, I chased it like it was the only goal. I took jobs that paid well but drained me. I measured success in numbers, salaries, savings, square footage. And for a while, it felt good. Until it didn't. Because no matter how much I earned, there was a quiet emptiness I couldn't fill. The more I focused on making a living, the more I forgot to make a life. And here's what I finally learned. Money is a tool, not a purpose. It's important, yes. But so is waking up with a reason. So is doing work that feeds your soul, not just your wallet. So is feeling proud of the life you're building, not just the paycheck you're bringing home. I've known people with little money but rich hearts. I've known people with big salaries but tired, hollow eyes. And in the end, the question is never just, how much did I make? It's also, did it matter? Did I help someone? Did I create something meaningful? Did I feel alive in the life I built? So yes, make money. Be wise with it. But don't lose your meaning in the process. Find the balance. Between earning and living. Between surviving and truly thriving. Because when money and meaning walk hand in hand, that's when life starts to feel full. 10. Everything is temporary, the good and the bad. If there's one truth life keeps teaching us, again and again, it's this. Nothing lasts forever. Not the joy. Not the pain. Not even the moment you're in right now. When I was younger, I clung to happiness like it would disappear, and feared sorrow like it would never leave. But with time, I learned to soften my grip. Because the beautiful truth is, everything changes. The highs fade, which makes them even more precious. The lows lift, which means you're never truly stuck. I've lived long enough to see heartbreak turn into healing. Storms pass. Grief ease. Laughter return to faces that once forgot how to smile. And I've also seen sunshine give way to clouds. Which taught me not to take the good times for granted. So now, I hold both joy and sorrow gently. I savor the good moments, knowing they are gifts. And when life gets heavy, I remind myself. This too shall pass. That phrase isn't just a comfort, it's a compass. It helps you stay grounded during the highs. And stay hopeful during the lows. Because life flows, like a river. And no matter what you're facing today, you won't stay in this place forever. Keep walking. Keep breathing. Keep showing up. You are not meant to stay still. You are meant to move, through pain, through beauty, through all of it. And if you can remember that everything is temporary, you'll find the strength to cherish what's here. And the courage to face what's next. A gentle reminder for the road ahead. Youth doesn't come back. But the lessons of youth, they stay with us. Shaping how we live, love, and lead our days. Maybe you're in your 20s, still figuring things out. Maybe you're in your 60s, still discovering new parts of yourself. Wherever you are, it's never too late to learn. And never too early to live with intention. Be honest with yourself. Be awake to the life unfolding around you. And don't be afraid to get it wrong sometimes. Mistakes aren't signs of failure. They're signs that you're trying. That you're growing. That you care enough to keep moving forward. Every lesson you live, every truth you uncover, is a stepping stone toward a fuller, kinder, more meaningful version of you. So take what you've heard today. And carry it gently into tomorrow. And remember. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're becoming. One lesson at a time.